Great. If you're just joining us, welcome to the CLA Transfer Student Admitted session. We're going to get started just in less than a minute here. I just want to make sure we give plenty of time to allow students to come in, get comfortable with Zoom, get everything adjusted before we get started. But thanks for joining us. Very good. See a couple trickling in here, but I think we're at a pretty good spot here. Again, welcome. Thanks for joining us today. My name is Carmen Kurzel, and I am the CLA Transfer Student Coordinator. And I get to work with a team of transfer advisors that works with transfer students in navigating this transfer process. The work that we do helps students navigate the university, navigate this process before orientation when students meet with advisors and register for classes. So today, the goal of the session is to give you information about your next steps in the transfer process, help you to get ready for orientation. That happens in January, and that's also where you register for spring classes. I also want to let you know I am recording this session today because I'm really hoping to send it out to students that couldn't join us. So if they have questions about what the next steps in the process are, they're able to take a look at this information as well. So to get started here, I do want to start off with a land acknowledgement. So we acknowledge that the University of Minnesota Twin Cities is built within the traditional homelands of the Dakota people. It is important to acknowledge the people on whose land we live, learn, and work as we seek to improve and strengthen our relations with our tribal nations. We also acknowledge that words are not enough. We must ensure that our institution provides support, resources, and programs that increase the access to all aspects of higher education for our American Indian students, staff, faculty, and community members. I also want to say a few words just to address the challenging times that we're in. We're in the midst of a global pandemic, we're in an election year, and we're still a community that's hurting from the death of George Floyd here in Minneapolis. So I just want to acknowledge that at the University of Minnesota, we work to provide an atmosphere of mutual respect and freedom from racism and other forms of prejudice and intolerance. Just to get things started off, thanks for that. Okay, so on the agenda today and thinking about navigating the transfer process and what your next steps are, first I'm going to talk about those next steps. So we'll walk through the CLA transfer process. You can identify where you are in the process and what you need to do. Then we're going to welcome one of our CLA career counselors to talk to you about the CLA Advantage, talk about career services and career readiness. Then we're going to have a panel of current transfer students in the College of Liberal Arts, and you'll have the opportunity to chat questions to them. So you can get to know more about the transfer student experience and what's it like to be a student in CLA. Then we're going to do a wrap up. After the session, I want you to know that you're going to get an email with all of the links that we talk about in this session. So you're certainly welcome to write them down, but after the session, we have your emails for when you registered. So we will send a follow-up email with all of the links that we go through today. So here's an infographic here about the transfer process so you can identify where you are to see what your next steps will be. So the first step, so everyone's been admitted to CLA that's in this session, so congratulations, first of all. Next step is to confirm your enrollment with the Office of Admissions if you haven't done that yet. So you can do that on the admissions website and confirm to let them know, yes, I am coming to CLA for the spring term. After you confirm your enrollment, you will get an email from our CLA Student Services Office, and it's going to ask you to complete what we call our new student checklist. And that checklist has a variety of steps that are designed to get you prepared for orientation. So here's the list of those steps. One, there's a tell us about yourself survey, and that's time for you to put information in about yourself and your goals. This is something your advisor will see and review before they meet with you at orientation. There's also a step to talk about academic advising. There is a step that's called our orientation prep course, and it's an online course in a platform called Canvas, where you'll learn about CLA, the policies, the procedures, sections on getting to know more about majors. So you'll get to know a lot about the college in that orientation prep course. That is a requirement before orientation. So orientation, selecting the date is that next step. All of our dates for orientation are in January, so you'll select your orientation date in that step. You'll want to make sure you finish that orientation prep course before you attend orientation. But with that in mind, you don't have to complete the orientation prep course to skip to that fourth step and get your date, because you can always finish it later. You just want to make sure you do the orientation prep course before your January orientation date. There's also a placement test if you need to take them, and an information about how to learn if you need a placement test or not. A reminder about sending transcripts, test scores, and transfer coursework in. There's an opportunity for you to take a super strong interest inventory, and that's also something your advisor can see. So if you're interested in kind of what your interests are, things like that, that's a really great tool, and that's a part of that checklist. A place for you to upload your U-card, and also how to manage your personal and accounts information is there as well. So take your time through that checklist. You'll get that email when it's ready to go and you'll sign in, but certainly do that and go ahead and get that orientation date, because that's when a lot of things happen. So number 3, attending orientation. So at orientation is when you'll meet with your CLA major advisor for the major you're interested in. You'll also meet with your CLA advisor. So you have an advisor for the department you're interested for the major, and also a CLA advisor. You'll meet one-on-one with that academic advisor to talk about courses, talk about how your credits transferred, and you get assistance in registering for classes. So it is our goal at that orientation date to get your registration solid, know what you're taking, and help you make sure you know how the system works and what the classes are. And then classes beginning January 19th. We are in, like I mentioned, the midst of a global pandemic. And what we know right now is that classes are going to be offered much like they are for the fall, for the spring. So for us, that means a mix of in-person, remote courses, and blended courses. So when you're registering, you'll see that modality of what the course will be in. But right now for fall, we're kind of in a mix of all of those modes. Spring break has also changed for us for next year. Spring break will be the week of April 5th through the 9th. And right now, there's not been a decision made to say what the mode of instruction will be after spring break. So right now, kind of how things stand is it'll be kind of that same format that you're registering in. And keep an eye on your emails. The university email is your official source of communication. So be sure to be checking that to see if that changes. I do want to spend some time here talking about what we call our APAS report. If you had a degree audit at your previous institution, our model of that is called the APAS report. This gives a list of all the credits you have transferring in. It lists any degree requirements that you have and explains what you need to do to complete your degree. We recommend very much that you take a look at that APAS report before orientation. In the orientation prep course, there's a whole section on how to read your APAS and what to look for. So when you do that, and if you have questions about your APAS report at the end of this session, I'm going to let you know how to schedule an appointment with one of us, one of the transfer advisors, and we're happy to go through that APAS if it's not looking the right way to you, or you think something's transferring a way it shouldn't, or we're happy to go through that with you before orientation. So very important to take a look at that APAS and do that section in that orientation prep course. You can access the APAS here. It's onestop.umn.edu in academics under APAS is how you can get to it. The other thing is specifically about transfer credits. So we know when credits transfer, they might not transfer the way that you think they should, but there is a process to have courses reevaluated if you want it to count for a specific thing. So courses can be re-reviewed for liberal education requirements, or they also can be reviewed for major or minor coursework. This is an APAS example that you see on the screen here. You see this first history course it comes in as History 1301W. So that has an equivalent to courses here at the U of M. But you can see there's another history course down here that says history, but it's just some numbers at the end, not a direct match to any course. It doesn't mean that course won't transfer, but what we do need to do is check our system called Transferology to see if it has an equivalent. And if not, you can submit a course for review. So courses can be submitted for review, and they will go to the academic department for review, and you will get notified when that decision is made. If you do have a course that you want evaluated, you can go to z.umn.edu/credit evaluation, and you will upload a syllabus, put your information in there, and that sends it to the department for review. Typically, it's about 2 to 4 weeks from when you'll hear back. So I strongly recommend looking at that APAS early, connecting with a transfer advisor if you have questions, and submitting a review if you need one. It's great to have all that done before orientation. Also check to see if you have any AP, any IB, any CLEP scores. Sometimes students think we have those in, but our admissions office needs official reports. So if you had AP exam credits on your transcript from your previous institution, our admissions office can't accept that to look to see the award credit. They need the official score report. So a lot of times that means connecting with the College Board and sending a new one in. If you have questions about that and kind of what's in for you, again, a great time to connect with one of the transfer advisors to answer that. But certainly if a course isn't transferring the way you think it should, please do submit it for review. Here is some information here about tuition and fees. So looking at this, you can see the tuition and fees for the 2020-2021 year. You can see Minnesota residents, you can see North and South Dakota, Manitoba, and Wisconsin, and also non-residents. I really encourage students, if you have questions about any financial aid, about tuition questions, please reach out to one of our one-stop counselors. One stop on our campus is the office that works with a financial aid. So if you do have questions about that or looking at your FAFSA, take a look and please do connect with them if you have questions. You can find their contact information at onestop.umn.edu, and they have a variety of ways of how to connect with students virtually. So if you have any questions about tuition, fees, financial aid, things like that, please do feel free to connect with them. All right. So that is kind of the first part, kind of talking about some next steps. I do want to turn it over now to one of our career counselors, Marlena, and I'm going to stop sharing my screen and I'm going to give her access here to share hers. And she is going to talk to you all about the CLA Advantage, talking about career services and career readiness. Thanks, Marlena.
Yes, okay, I've got my slides and I'm going to put it on. Okay, hopefully you can all see my slides here, but hi everyone, my name is Marlena Yang. I use she, her, hers pronouns, and I'm one of the career counselors in career services. And as you'll notice on the slide, CLA Career Services.
Real quick, not to interrupt you, we see your speaker notes.
Oh, shoot.
I don't know if you want that. I just want to make sure you know. Got it.
It's okay. You know what? I think I'm fine. I just don't want to miss any points. So I'll just remove it. Okay, I hope you guys can see my screen now. Awesome. Yes, so usually if you're on campus, CLA Career Services is located in Burnix Hall. So it's that round, like circular building with the silver columns, looking over the Mississippi River and the Twin Cities, the Minneapolis skyline. So I really like this this photo because it just really shows you, your college experience that's preparing you to launch in your career. And that's what I'm going to talk about today is career readiness and career services, and how the CLA Advantage can support you in your career goals. So I'm going to do a high-level overview of career readiness and the commitment that the college has in supporting CLA students. And then I'll talk about career services, so my department and how we work with you in planning out your next steps for your career. So this is a quote from our dean, Dean Coleman, and here he states, employers tell us they're looking for those who can solve problems, think inventively, communicate well, consider multiple diverse perspectives, work nimbly, conduct research, analyze the past, understand the present, and imagine the future. So these are tools. So these tools are the fruits of a liberal education. So this statement from our dean really shows the commitment that our dean has in incorporating and embedding the career readiness into the college. So making sure that staff and faculty in the college really understand the value of career readiness so that we can prepare our students for life after college. And one of the ways that we do that is through what we call our CLA core career competencies. And you'll notice this in a lot of your classes in CLA. Faculty will talk about these core career competencies, and you also build and strengthen these competencies through some of the experiences that you have while you're in CLA. And so you'll notice that there are 10 career competencies, and employers have actually shared with us that these are the competencies and skills that they look for in their candidates. So oral and written communication, to the teamwork and leadership, innovation and creativity, same with engaging diversity. So these are all, competencies that they look for in their candidates. So the one piece that I will focus on is the career management component, which is what CLA Career Services focuses on in supporting students. So we believe that career management, career development is a journey in a process of exploration. So exploring yourself, your interests, your values, while you're in experiences and while you're in the courses. From there, and a lot of that self-exploration is happening through those various experiences that you're having from your classes, the internships, part-time jobs you're in right now, and off-campus study, as well as like student organizations, so getting involved on campus. And it's through that self-exploration and the experiences that you gain that you're able to excel in your future. So, you'll be able to communicate those experiences on your resume, in an interview, and on a cover letter to really convey those competencies. And so again, career options are a combination of your degree, the skills and competencies that you gain, and experiences. So that's really great to keep in mind. And that's really, so we use this model when we are working with students who are navigating the career development process. So meeting you where you're at. Currently, we are operating purely remote, and that will remain the same in the spring of 2021. And so we are connecting with students via Zoom. We have a lot of resources online, but working with career services, we can support you at any stage of your career development journey, from when you're a first-year student to when you are in your last semester. I highly recommend getting connected with us right away. Unlike me, I was also a transfer student. I didn't really understand career services when I was a student here at the U, and I waited until my last semester to actually utilize career services for resume review. And I wish that I had gone even more early to help really think through my experiences and really getting more feedback on kind of my plans, because I think I came into college with a very narrow mindset. So I think having worked with career service would have really opened my eyes to the plethora of opportunities that are out there. So as career counselors, we work with you from major and career exploration, graduate school planning. Actually, a lot of my appointments are around graduate school planning right now, because it is a lot of applications are due soon, from internship and job search strategies, and more of the technical pieces to how to write a resume, getting feedback on your resume cover letter, in addition to like a personal statement, which is a component of the graduate school application, where you provide a letter describing your interest in a grad program, and as well as interview preparation as well. So we provide a variety of support with students. Two of the commonly asked questions that we get from students are, what can I do with my major in, say, philosophy, psychology, communications? And the other question is, what should I major in if I'm interested in, say, healthcare? if I want to become a doctor, what should I major in? So we really work with you in kind of teasing out what that means. And so one of the ways that we've done that is by identifying what we call career fields. And so the 8 that you notice here in the slides are arts, business, tech, education, government, healthcare, nonprofit, communications, and media. So we've identified 8 career fields to help, which are common to what CLA alumni pursue after graduation. And it's just a great way to just learn more about employers, learn more about the types of positions that are being offered in the workplace, in different industries. And so not only do we support students at more of like the individual level where, if you are, say, a philosophy major, what are some of the career opportunities? We've actually gathered data from alumni, and we build connections with employers to help give you the information that you need so that you feel confident in what your next steps are. One thing I like to tell my students is it's not what can you do with a major, but what will you do with a major. I think it really gives you the agency to kind of decide, why are you choosing a specific major, and what are you choosing to do with that. And so really, again, those competencies that I talked about earlier, that's all really built into your degree in CLA. So getting started on your internship search. So whether you've had an internship or not, I want to share some resources that will help you get started in your internship search process as a CLA student. I recognize we are in the middle of pandemic, and so there might be some reservations about like how are students finding internships right now? What are resources to help students get connected? Are employers hiring? Like all of that, we do have information. Here are 4 ways to help you get started. And the first the CLA 3101 Major and Career Exploration course. It's a 2-credit course. So when you do meet with your advisor during orientation, you can see if you can fit this course into your academic plan. But this course is for transfer students, and we learned about different strategies to finding an internship and building a resume and cover letter with confidence, and also learning different tools that you can use to make connections with employers and alumni who are currently in the industry. The second is the internship resources and internship module. And so we have a module online for ways on how to get started in your internship process. And so those are resources that are available. We have a module, and there will be, so if you go to that Z link right there, z.umn.edu/CLA internships, it'll take you to the module. And you can also see a database of what CLA students have, the types of internships and experiences that CLA students have done in the past. The third that I really like to highlight is the CLA Internship Scholarship. So often there are internships that are unpaid. So internships can range from really any time. It can be part-time, full-time, paid, unpaid, for credit, not for credit. And so if you do have an internship and it's unpaid, we do have a scholarship for unpaid opportunities. And that's available every fall, spring, and summer. The fourth thing I want to mention is Gold Pass Power by Handshake. This is the University of Minnesota's job and internship platform for students. So any employer and organization who is looking to hire University of Minnesota talent, if they have opportunities that they want us to promote to students, we always gear them towards the Gold Pass Power by Handshake platform. So they have an opportunity, we have them posted on there so that all students have access to it. You will have access to this resource once you enroll in courses. So yes, so these are 4 different ways of getting started on your internship search. And the other thing I want to bring up too is the employer perspective. Employers are also, I think we're all navigating strange times. It's hard to believe how far we've come so far, but employers, this is what they have to say, and this is advice that they're giving students, is that because they really empathize with you right now. And so here's some quotes. I'll read one here. It says, "Your experience in recent months is just that, experience. You've learned to navigate new challenges, learning remotely and networking virtually. All of that experience can be applied to your next opportunity. Use it. And then another one is, please remember, you may not all be in the same boat, but we are all in the same storm. You may have to pivot your plan B post-graduation, but your perseverance will pay off. And so our employers are they're still hiring. They're eager to meet with students. And it's just now we all have to reimagine what that means during COVID times. And so for them, they're still recruiting students, wanting to make connections. So we do have virtual fairs and virtual info sessions that employers can make connections with students. So definitely take advantage of that too when you are a CLA student. As for next steps, there was a lot of information, again, just high level about career readiness and how you can work with career services when you're here. And so it's just some steps you can take after today. So the first is to subscribe to one or more of our career field newsletters. Earlier, I mentioned the 8 career fields that we've identified that are common to what CLA alumni go on and do after graduation. It's a monthly newsletter with information about internships, jobs, events, and resources, such as articles or maybe videos that you can watch to stay current in that industry. I really like this newsletter because you get to learn about the different types of position titles. Because a lot of times, job titles, they don't give you a lot of information about what that job entails. And in addition to that, there's so many different employers, worldwide and locally, that I think it gives students great exposure to what's out there. The second is our YouTube channel. We have a variety of videos from 3 to 10 minutes that will, on all topics, from interviewing to how to maximize LinkedIn, to, tailoring your application materials, such as your resume and cover letter. So I encourage you to check that out as well and subscribe. The third is exploring options by major and career field. So you'll also get this in that email that the transfer team will send you after today. We have different pages of how to explore options by a specific major and by the 8 career fields. And the fourth, I'm really excited to share this, is that we are our peer advisors and CLA Career Services we have drop-ins from all semester. And so we do encourage our transfer students to get connected, and you're able to get connected with our office even before you enroll in courses. And so definitely take advantage of that. When you're working with a peer, you can have them review your resume or talk about some of the resources that I've mentioned today, and maybe just really get some career advice from them or learn about their experience being a CLA student. Drop-ins have been pretty quiet, so I think they'll be really excited to actually to meet some students and through the drop-in service. Okay, questions. I know I went through that pretty quickly, but what questions do you have? I think I have a couple minutes here. You can put the questions in the chat function.
Maybe no questions. It was just so great, Marlena. Lots of really great topics that you shared. So really want to thank you for that. Thank you for taking the time to chat with us. I do just want to highlight that CLA 3101 course is really great. And I hear such great feedback from transfer students that take it, because it's one opportunity that you can connect with transfer students that are coming when you're coming and kind of sharing in that experience. So if you're looking for a way to kind of connect the academics with the career, because as a transfer student, you don't have typically 4 years to kind of plan this. So to get a jump start on planning that career piece is great. So thanks so much, Marlena.
I think there's a question. So does career services have any connections with voice acting industries? That's a great question. And earlier I'd mentioned that I think I'd missed on this part, but in our office, so career services, we do have career counselors who are assigned to a set of majors. And so the arts, for example, we do have a career counselor for that. And so with that career counselor, who's Chelsea, she actually works really closely with the arts department and kind of being like the career liaison. And so I think that, yes, you would have, and your department as well. I think that the arts department is such a strong department at the university that you would have those connections, not just through career services, but also through the academic department. I hope that answers your question. Okay, well, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Take care. Thank you. Happy Friday.
Okay. Thanks, Marlena. Yeah, you too. Happy Friday. All right. Well, now I am going to invite Therese J.E. She is one of our transfer advisors. Give me a second. I'm going to go ahead and make sure they can share their videos here. And start our current student panel. Thanks, Therese.
Hi, everybody. Welcome our panelists. Thank you, Carmen. Thank you, Marlena. I'll ask all our panelists to turn their videos on. Again, my name is Therese. I'm one of the CLA transfer advisors, and we're really excited to connect with all of you new transfer students today. Congratulations on your admission. We have 4 students with us who are current CLA students, and they transferred just like you guys. So they've been through it, they have their stories to share. So I'm gonna let them introduce themselves, and then you're gonna get a chance to ask them questions. Already, if you have some questions, feel free to put them in the chat. And then we'll be collecting the questions from the chat in Zoom. And then I'll say some questions out loud to our panelists, and they'll get to have some turns to share their thoughts. So why don't we have each of the panelists introduce themselves, and be sure to mention your major, where you transferred from, and then we'll go on to questions. Okay, so why don't we start with Ethan?
I'll get myself unmuted there first. Hey everyone, my name is Ethan Brenna. I'm a 3rd-year student at the University of Minnesota. I'm in CLA. I transferred here from the University of Alabama, Birmingham in the spring of 2019, and I plan on graduating in the spring of 2022.
Thank you, Ethan. Jill, could I ask you to go next?
Hello, everyone. My name is Jill. I transferred from the University of Wisconsin online in the spring of 2019. I'm majoring in the sociology of law, criminology, and deviance, and I will be graduating after next semester.
Wow, exciting. And Gabe, could you go next for us?
Yeah, definitely. Hello, everyone. I'm so glad you're here. This is so exciting. My name is Gabe. This is my 3rd year at the U. I transferred in the fall of 2018, and I am a political science major.
Exciting. Thank you, Gabe. And Joe?
Hi, y'all. My name is Job. I use pronouns he, him, his. I transferred to the U from Normandale Community College in fall of 2019. I am a senior, majoring in global studies and minoring in business law, and I will graduate next semester. Very excited.
That is exciting. Yeah, great work to all of you. Thank you for each being here. And as we get started in the panel, I'd like to ask you guys to remember back when you were first transferring here to CLA, and share with us kind of one thing that you discovered about the college that was helpful for you, or one of your favorite things. And if I could ask each of you to share kind of briefly, then we'll get on to other topics of questions, but just something that you liked about CLA when you were brand new. Maybe raise your hand and I can take turns. Ethan, go ahead.
Yeah, I came to the university. I think I also forgot to introduce my major. I'm a biology, society, and environment major. But I came into the University of Minnesota with full intention of going to CBS after my first semester. But after spending my first semester here at the University of Minnesota, I realized the diversity of thought and perspectives that go into CLA, and I just thought that I couldn't get that anywhere else, and so that's what really stuck me into falling in love with CLA.
That's awesome. Thank you. Gabe, go for it.
Cool. I also forgot some information in mine. My pronouns are they, them, as you can see right here. And then I transferred from UW Eau Claire. But as far as things that I love about CLA, I guess like I have a similar story. I was going to transfer into the food systems major in the CFANS in the College of Food, Agriculture, and Natural Resource Sciences, and double major in politics. But I really like the flexibility. Like there's a relatively low credit threshold for political science, and so you have a lot of opportunity to like dabble in other colleges and other majors and kind of like feel out different kinds of thought.
That's really true. Yeah, go for it. Job.
The thing I liked and discovered when I was like brand new. So coming in, I was very excited. I'm a people person, wanted to make as many friends as I could and like do everything. But then I was new and I did not know how to do that. Then my advising office for CLA was MLK, and that's like Martin Luther King advising office. And they had something called Freestyle Fridays, and it would just be like, they will have food and anyone can just go and they talk about like random stuff about random things, and you get to meet random people. It was so cool.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear that you got to be in those programs. I've heard about those two good things. Jill, could you share with us?
Sure. I really liked CLA's resources that they provided, both specific to transfer students, but also to the student body as a whole, as well as the staff within it. For example, I just loved my advisor, my academic advisor. And I just thought that they were all so supportive and very clearly engaged with what my needs were and what would be best for me.
Awesome. Thank you guys. Thanks for sharing. That gives us a kind of a fuller picture of how the transition is a big thing, but you can really find great ways to have a positive experience as a brand new student. We have a question that I'll bring up to you guys. So it's about how you found out about resources on campus, and if there were certain offices that you found the most helpful, either before or now, and kind of how you stumbled upon them, or who told you about them, and how that all worked for you. If maybe a couple of you guys could share. Just raise your hand and Ethan, go for it.
Yeah, I would first off recommend really setting up a meeting with your advisor, because they're a very helpful tool in realizing what resources are offered that kind of fit your interests here at the U. So what I did first is I went to my advisor and I was like, I want to go into medicine or dentistry. And so she navigated me quickly to the pre-health resource center. And so I would first recommend going to someone who knows what they know, because it's a lot of weight on your shoulders. You come in, it's a massive campus. There's all these clubs, all these resources here. So go to someone that you can rely on that can make it simple for you. And yeah, that's what I'd recommend.
Awesome. Thank you. Jill, did you have your hand up too? Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, I just had a couple of additions. Yes, I need to second what Ethan said, because your advisor is incredible and they're going to be an amazing resource for you. But also I did just a ridiculous amount of website reading. Like, I think I visited every single website that the University of Minnesota has. And so I just learned as much as I possibly could about what there was available to me. And then anytime I had extra questions, there was, and I just need to point out that Ethan and I were transfer student leaders together. What an amazing experience that was, and how thankful I am for that opportunity with him. But they have a wealth of knowledge, and I learned a lot through the transfer student leaders, and then I was able to leverage them later as well when I had additional questions. So when it comes to orientation, These are individuals who have been in your shoes and have learned about the resources extensively, so pick their brains.
Awesome. That's good to hear. Yeah, transfer student leaders they'll get to meet you guys with orientation process. So yeah, that's great. We're going to go on to another question just so we can cover a lot of topics in the time we have. And this is more related to this school year because the COVID pandemic has affected schools all over. And we'd like you to share, if you could, a couple of you, how you've been involved with the campus this fall, where there's so many things online in contrast to normal. And are you still in student groups, or which ones, or how have you been navigating this unusual semester? Because spring will be similar in that there'll be a lot more online stuff in contrast to how things are typically for the U of M. Would anyone like to share? Go for it, Gabe. Thank you.
Okay, this is a question that I was really looking forward to because strangely enough, I almost find it easier to get involved when everything is online, just because like I'm an extrovert and a homebody. And so I love that it's the like sweet balance of like getting involved while getting to stay at home. But I think like I'm involved with MSA, the Minnesota Student Association, which is like student government. Basically, we represent 19,000 or 99,000 students, I think. So like the whole U of M system. And so, yeah, it's a really cool opportunity. So like 10 out of 10 would recommend getting involved with that because it's open to any undergrad student. And so like the other thing that I would recommend too is checking out all of the like Instagrams for all of the departments that you're interested in and all of the like university websites, because all of them have them linked at the bottom of the page. And so that's like an easy way to navigate between programs because they spend a lot of time like highlighting each other's content and each other's opportunities to get involved. So like shamelessly would plug that. And also like Zoom class is cool because you can just like DM anyone, like you're not beholden to the person that you sit next to in a lecture hall, right? So it's like easier to make a broader swath of connections that way.
That's great to hear. That's really positive. I know there's so many challenges in this current climate, but it's great to hear the positive side of things. Thank you. Would another panelist like to share? Go for it, Job.
Just like Gabe, I have been involved in MSA. Fun fact, I was a senator for CLA last semester. Great experience, would recommend. But going back to the question, I think it's a little bit of both. Some aspects of online are easier, just in that you don't have to go to physical places. You can just attend like meetings that are back to back. You don't have like to walk to different places. So that's nice. And also, as Gabe said, like online, just following the things you're interested in on Instagram, and that way they will post their events on stories. For instance, I'm involved with BSU and Model UN. So I just follow their Instagram and they will just post events, and then you can just click on the link and attend. So it's nice that way.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing. Yeah, Ethan, you'd like to add something?
Yeah, I know it may be getting colder here in Minnesota, but if you're in Minnesota, I would recommend, or on campus, I would recommend going across the Washington Bridge. The Washington Bridge has a lot of different clubs, a lot of different resources and services, and usually they'll have their tag to like social media tag, their @ or I don't know what the word is called, but you can go on there, you can follow them like everyone else has said here. And then DM the person. Usually the person who's orchestrating the website is the president or the leader of that club. And that can just kind of get you in. I know I did that for the pre-dental club. I just followed them and then I got involved. And so don't be afraid to put yourself out there.
That's great advice. I think there's a lot of people who are eager to welcome, new people to clubs that are doing great things. So that's great to hear you guys' perspective. Another question, kind of building off of, getting involved in clubs and campus stuff is things like internships, research, other experiences that relate to maybe your major or career goal. But how did you guys find out about that kind of stuff, or those sorts of opportunities, or maybe even an example of what you have tried. Would anyone like to share? Go for it, Ethan. And then we'll grab you, Job.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm just kind of going in, but
No, it's fine.
yeah, schedule office hours. So like what we said, it's kind of easier to go to office hours. You can stay in your bed or in your room instead of getting up and going into the cold compared to recent years. But yeah, go to office hours if your professors, if it's a class of interest. So for myself, I know last year I was interested in cellular biology. And so I just kind of scheduled an office hour with my professor. They always want to meet with you. Surprisingly, not enough students go to office hours. So I would definitely recommend that. It's very helpful. So go to office hours, ask them if they want to get involved in research in some sort of way. You can become a TA, get yourself involved as much as you can, because it really does help, because the more people you know and the more friends you have, the better off you will be.
That's awesome. Job, go for it.
I will just add to what Ethan said. Get to know your professors. They are doing some cool stuff. This summer, one of my professors runs a neural law lab, and I just emailed him and I was like, hey, my study abroad was canceled and I have nothing to do. Can I work at your lab? He was like, yeah, sure. And just asked me to apply. And that's how I had like my summer like research assistant position. So like your professors are like a great resource. Also, there's the Office of Undergraduate Research Europe. I'm not sure like the full acronym, what it stands for. It's like a very great resource for like any undergraduate students trying to do research. They will connect you with things you're interested in, with professors who are doing research on stuff that you're interested in, and they're like a really cool office.
Awesome. Thank you. Yeah, Europe, it's UROP, Undergrad Research Opportunity Program, I think. We say a lot of acronyms sometimes. But thanks for sharing, guys. Let's get to another question. And we only have, I don't know, 5 or so more minutes left. So students who are in this event right now, if there's anything else you want to bring up to our panelists, please throw a question in the chat and we'll try to get to it. But now we're just going to get to something broader. So, maybe panelists, you can take it the direction where you feel like, you really want to share something as tips, hints, good general practices as a new transfer student, like what helps you be successful? What are the secrets you figured out? If it's study spots or ways to get through classes, or like, what do you wish you knew before, but that you know now that you can tell our new students? Go for it, Gabe.
Okay. So first of all, like the U, Ethan mentioned this before, like the U is huge. There are so many students here. And with that is like a wealth of opportunity too. It feels intimidating, but like the best thing you can do is just like chat up other people and like kind of feel out what other people are doing and figure out if like you're in a class with someone and you think they're cool, like find out what they're involved with and you'll find more cool people that you want to be around, right? So like the cool thing about being a transfer student is that you have a lot of self-determination. You already know more things about yourself maybe than other students do because you've had time and like you've made this huge decision to like change schools. And so like in that capacity, feel empowered, like be proud of yourself. That's a super exciting thing. But as far as like cool things, like go to as many meetings as you can, try out different stuff. Like no visit to one meeting is a commitment. You could just go and then decide it's not for you. Like, for example, I joined the UMN Poultry Club and I loved it. And now I have chickens. And so like, it's a whole thing, right? You never know until you try.
That's exciting. That's awesome. I didn't know there was a poultry club. There's lots of cool clubs out there. So keep searching, everybody. Would another panelist like to share? Great tips, things you've learned along the way.
We have a couple questions in the chat. Should we answer those or?
They came up just now. Let's do it. Yeah. So this is the first one's about career services and like how useful they've been for you guys. And if someone should be on the flip side, kind of concerned if they're not sure what they're most interested in, maybe undecided in a major. So how helpful has career help, career advice, career counseling been for you? Jill, would you like to take this one?
Sure. So career services, I leverage them for resume reviews, practice interviewing, and also I plan to apply for graduate school. So I pick their brain about how to find a program that was a good fit for me, what kinds of qualifications I should focus on when it came to the program I was looking for. They were just a wealth of knowledge, had amazing suggestions for me and was readily able to answer any question that I had. My advisor was highly knowledgeable and extremely helpful, really helped me feel comfortable with my next steps after I left. And then also there was a program, if you're trying to find what you're interested in, there was a major mentor program. So you can reach out to them and say, I'm kind of curious about this major. And then somebody from that major will talk to you and they'll kind of help you feel out whether that major is going to be a good fit. So it's very helpful just to get that student perspective on what the program is like. And so I highly suggest it.
That's awesome. Yeah, I think if I remember correctly, that mentor program is through CAPE, an office that helps students in a ton of different colleges across the campus. So yeah, thanks for sharing. I think for the sake of time, oh, go ahead.
I would say I work for CAPE and would actually recommend using our services. The program is called the Major Network. So they just like find someone in the major you're trying to go to and they give you the inside scope.
That's awesome. Yeah, CAPE is a great office and I think you'll hear a lot about it if you're exploring majors. Thank you. Let's jump to the last question, just because of time, but thank you everyone for what you've shared. And this is about commuting and, in contrast to living near campus or close to campus. And if you guys could maybe just share on how you did it or was commuting okay and what you might recommend. Go for it, Ethan.
Yeah, so my first semester as a transfer student here at the U of M, I was a commuter student. I lived about 25, 30 minutes away from campus. And so I would recommend first, if you can afford it, putting yourself into the parking lottery, which is every semester. You get to choose like your top 3 favorite. They differ in price ranges, but find a parking lot that's closest to where your classes are, or that's most convenient for you. Also be mindful of weather. I know that some days driving could take 20 minutes, some days could take an hour for me. So keep mindful of that. And just like scheduling your classes, knowing if you're not a morning person, don't put yourself at an 8 a.m. or a 9 a.m. Because you have to wake up much earlier if you're commuting. So yeah, from my experience, commuting was actually a fun experience, and I like the drive home and the drive back to campus.
That's great to hear. Thank you. Any additional thoughts about camp? Yeah, go for it, Gabe.
So I was in kind of the same boat. I live like 15 minutes northeast of campus. And so, yeah, like Ethan said, the best thing you can do for yourself is get a parking pass. It is a total game changer. And then beyond that, like I found it really helpful to schedule all of my classes in chunks. So I would like not have to go home in the middle of the day, or I would like make sure to pack lunch and like commit to like library time in between classes to like get more done during the day. But yeah, time management is basically the best thing you can do as a commuter student.
Awesome. Yeah, go for it, Jill.
I just have one quick addition. I also commuted my first semester and I commuted by bus. I found it to be very helpful for me to do that because it really encouraged me to be disciplined about when I was going to use my time for studying and when I was going to be using personal time. So I would take the same bus every day, both to and from campus. while I was on campus, it was all about studying and schoolwork. And while I was home, then I could be presently home. So the area has a really robust public transit system. It's very helpful. There's great student discount passes available as well. So if public transportation is your option, there are amazing ways of making that work as well, including the commuter lounge in Kaufman whenever campus opens.
Yeah. You guys have brought up so many great tips and, you know, opportunities, if it's research or commuter lounge, like, thank you, panelists. I know you're in the middle of a busy semester right now too, and we're getting close to the Thanksgiving holiday. So panelists, we're gonna wrap up, but I wanna say thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your wisdom. It's been great connecting with you today. So I'll have the panelists log off, but students stay with us because there'll be a few more wrap-up items. Thank you, everybody.
Great. Thanks so much to the panelists and for Therese for guiding us through that discussion. Always so great to hear that, that student perspective, because that's going to be you very soon. So to wrap up here, I shared my screen again. I just want to go over those next steps quickly. So if you haven't yet confirmed your enrollment, that is your next step in this transfer process. So confirm enrollment with admissions. Next, you'll get that email about the new student checklist and work through the steps on that. Again, make it a priority to get that orientation date so you know what your day is to meet with advising and register for your classes. Attending orientation, make it a priority, set aside the day because you're going to have a day full of learning about the university, meeting with departments, meeting with your advisor, registering, getting assistance. It'll be a great day, and you'll have that your courses registration after that. And again, when classes begin on January 19th. So I just want to thank you all for attending. We've gone through a lot. If you have questions about those transfer credits we talked about, or about an APAS report, or really just want to make a connection before orientation, please do let us know in transfer advising. There's a link here on where you can do schedule an online appointment with us. We're able to meet with students on Zoom or phone call right now. And so you choose which way you want us to connect and choose a time, and we're happy to do that. So if there's questions about those courses, should I submit an evaluation? What do I have left here? Please let us know because we're really happy to help. Or you can also email us. Our email is here, clatrans@umn.edu is our website. I want to thank you all for attending. I have one last thing I might ask of you to do is I have a quick poll that I set up here. So it's just about kind of how you felt the session went and if it helped to answer your questions. So if you could respond to the poll on the screen there quickly, that would be great. Otherwise, if you have remaining questions, feel free to reach out to a transfer advisor. Otherwise, thanks so much for joining us. Welcome to CLA again. We're super excited to see you at orientation and thrilled that you're joining us. So thanks for doing the poll. Thanks for joining us today, and have a great weekend. Thanks. Bye. Oh, somebody doesn't have the poll. That's strange. I see it launched here. Let me see what I can do. There, I clicked it again. Are you able to access the poll now? No, not showing up. Are you by chance on the Zoom on a phone? No, that's strange because I know if it's not a phone or a device like that, usually a poll comes up. Are you on a Chromebook by chance? on the browser on a desktop. That is strange. You should be able to see the poll because I see all the responses in. I'm sorry about that. What I can do, I made a note of your name, and if you would like to give us feedback, I will send you an email with the questions from the poll. Great. I'll be sure to do that. I'll get that sent out to you today. Sure. All right, no problem. Have a good weekend. Making a note of that, and I'll get that set out. Great. All right, I've got your email here, and I will go ahead and get that sent out. Thanks so much for joining us.